people do look for the next best thing, and when you look at the range from all-time high at 35k, Bitcoin is less than 50% from its all-time high. It's a psychological number, right, that people like to hold on to. And when you look at the risk to reward, people are starting to look down the list of assets now. So that, when you look at another asset that's down 90% from all-time high, that still represents perceived value in the market, that's what people are going to be looking at next.
G'day guys, welcome to a special Halloween edition of the Crypto Catchup. I'm your host Ted, and I'm joined by none other than
Tommy,
Mr. Tommy Honan, and
Mr. Pav.
Mr. Pav. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the boys to dress up today, as Tommy doesn't do dress up.
Nah, not about it at all.
And Pav's trying to look a bit smarter on his day-to-day, but
Yeah.
we've got some Halloween decorations around.
We've done a really good job. If only it was us that we could be credited.
Yeah, some last-minute decorations. But lads, how we doing?
Yeah, good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
What a week we've seen in the market to have to steal your line directly out of your notes. Yeah, insane. I mean, it's almost been like a V-shaped reversal, as we like to call it in the market sometimes.
Unexpected to many.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we talked about, I guess, last week on the podcast, a lot of hype, and probably hype around the ETF in the US that probably lacked the punch or the volume that we expected maybe from an announcement like that. I know it's still not 100% confirmed, but the hype is growing.
Lots of Easter eggs.
There's a lot of speculation again around. Are the institutions getting their money ready, getting the funds ready to pour into an ETF, a spot ETF in Bitcoin? I think that's kind of largely the narrative that has driven at least this initial part of the market. So yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, it's just great to see energy back about the place and about the markets. And it's interesting. We often talk about news stories driving the market higher and having a catalyst. Well, I think if we got a really bullish news story now, it would have a serious impact on the market. Whereas over the last 8 months, 9 months, we haven't seen, even good news stories haven't been able to impact. So yeah, it's I think we're in a good spot. I'm not getting carried away, of course, but it's we gotta take any positivity we can hold on to right now.
That's it.
Yeah, and there's a good points to what you said, Tommy, like the bullish tailwinds from the ETF news, or at least the institutional players in the States. Like there's a few things you can actually use to track this right now. So in the past, a lot of these guys, I think where they could get exposure was the grayscale products, which I know there's been some controversy on just from an SEC perspective. For a long time, they were actually running at a discount, and now that gap is closing. So just the demand and the grayscale investments product right now that is available, I guess that could be quite likely attributed to why that's been playing catch up the last couple of months. It's been trading at a discount to Bitcoin. And then another one that's quite interesting, open interest. So we look at the amount of positions long or short in a derivatives markets. CME, so the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, TradFi outfit, provide a lot of liquidity to a lot of the, your S&P index trading and all the commodities out there as well. Number 2 in terms of exposure, so just nipping at the heels of Binance. So we never thought we'd say the day that an exchange would actually get to Binance's level, but it's one of the largest institutions in the world globally for derivatives. So they're currently sitting at $3.5 billion US dollars of open interest at the moment. So didn't think I'd see that.
Huge.
I didn't think I'd see that. So yeah, there are a couple of ways you can sort of see that's been happening. I know there's been some random tweets, I don't have one on me, of just inflows into the other products that are out there right now. They've been on the up and up. So it's all looks like everyone's trying to play the ETF news catalyst at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, from last week, obviously we went to about 35k, and we discussed potentially could retrace a little bit, especially after the news of the ETF kind of died down. Yep. But we've kind of maintained that 34, 35k level, which is really strong, because that 30k mark, the USD I'm talking about, was a psychological level for a lot of this bear market, right? We rose up there and played around with it, and then kind of came down and kind of settled down at about the 25 range a lot of the time. But this time it's kind of a clean break, and it's really positive to see that we've maintained that. what I'm looking at the moment is the Bitcoin dominance chart, like we touched on a little bit last week.
Yeah.
And it's continuing to trend upwards, which is good to see, because in most cycles, what you want to see before a bull market is Bitcoin dominance kind of peak out. Now, it's not at like previous levels of previous cycles, probably because like there's so many more altcoins out there, and there's just like a broader market in crypto. But as you can see, it's at its highest point since about March 2021, which was kind of like the start of the last bull market. So yeah, what we're looking to see there is that to continue to, uptrend. And then once that sort of bull market kicks in, if it does, we see a lot of the money flow out into altcoins, where people kind of like diversify that and jump into more risky assets, I guess, in the crypto market. So yeah, that's something I'm keen to follow. But I just wanted to show you boys a little bit of, I don't have like an image or anything, but I just wanted to shout out, like I was looking at Google Trends recently, like I'm kind of into like the search trends type of thing.
Really?
Yeah.
You haven't made a career out of it.
What a shock. And in the last sort of month, the term buy Bitcoin in Google search has increased by about 300% in Australia alone. So I think that what that shows is retail is getting back into the market. Like we saw all-time low levels for the term buy Bitcoin, and now that we're seeing that, like, that increase. So good signs, I guess. Like, I guess what we want to see from a bull market is retail coming back in, and we're starting to see that through this channel, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess, just to touch on the Bitcoin dominance, we did kind of started off the conversation last week. I know, Pav, you always talk about this where, that Bitcoin value then flows into the altcoins, which is what you're talking about here, Ted. But I guess people do look for the next best thing. And when you look at what I was looking at actually this morning was the range from all-time high. Bitcoin is at 35K. Bitcoin is less. It's a psychological thing. Bitcoin is less than 50% from its all-time high. Yep. Which is, pretty big. Still a fair way, but it's it's a psychological number, right? That people like to hold on to. And when you look at the risk to reward, people are looking for now the next best thing, right? Yep. Bitcoin has had its run. Ethereum probably had its run, or it's starting to have its run. I think just as of recording, it's kicked off a little bit this morning, and people are starting to look down the list of assets now. So that, when you look at another asset that's down 90% from all-time high, that still represents perceived value in the market, that's what people are going to be looking at next. And I know we've already seen it with some of the numbers coming through on the SwiftX side. People are, starting to look at those altcoins, starting to diversify.
Yeah, definitely. It's positive signs.
Yeah, and the big outliers being Solana, right? Like that one's just gone mental.
Yeah,
like 280%.
The crazy thing is though, like look at its all-time high. It's at about $240, and Solana, despite having the year it's had, where it's up like 280%, like you said. Yeah, it's still so far off that all-time high.
Yeah, I posted about this on LinkedIn this morning. It was just like, it just gives it a bit of perspective, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we're not getting carried away. You look at the all-time highs. I don't think an all-time high is a number that you need to necessarily like anchor yourself to either if you're making an investment. Like, it's all about the stage of the cycle when you're picking these things. So just because the all-time high, it's miles away from its all-time high, doesn't mean it's a bad investment. Like,
that's the problem. Yeah, like it's not like you're going grocery shopping for these things, right? Like,
and a lot of I'm sure you guys here as well. Like a lot of my mates are like, still some of the crypto skeptics, which is fine. I love talking them down off the trees and with those ones. But like that's what they always refer to. Like people generally refer to, what was its all-time high?
Yeah.
I was like, well, it was 70 grand. Oh, but it's only at 30 now. I was like, yeah, it is, but it was also at 15K earlier on in the year. So I was like, you zoom out a little bit and get a bit of added perspective there, which it's we're always going to put forward the bullish case anyway. That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for. So let's be real.
Yeah, that's right.
People want to hear the bullish case. They don't want to hear the bearish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's jump into some of these top movers. Now, what do we got this week? We got Pepe, of course.
Everyone's favorite
frog. Look, I don't know, unless you have some insights on why Pepe's up about 60% in the 7 days.
I think King Kek has been involved.
Who?
Isn't that the Pepe? King Kek?
Yeah, King Kek. He's like the founder, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm not that involved in the Pepe world, but I'll take your word for it.
Pepe should have been created way earlier. Like, I just had assumed someone had already created it. It popped out of nowhere about, 12 months ago or something like that.
It's such a popular meme, Matt. You're always sending me Pepe.
It's I literally use Pepe reactions on Slack a million times a day. Like I I wouldn't be able to sleep if I didn't see Pepe reactions during the day. Goes down really well with people who don't understand the meme, but that's their problem.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's Pepe. I don't know. Like, it's been hard. Like in Mina Protocol, I know we did a bit of a write up on that one. It broke a massive downtrend, just technically, but fundamentally, like, this is a good example, right? That's a layer 1 infrastructure token out there at the moment. They were seeing a massive uptick just in monthly active users as well. So, you pair the fundamental with the technical, like a range breakout, plus the fact they're getting more user adoption. It's kind of how you can sort of come to these sort of investment decisions, I guess, a little bit easier doing your own research. But I would still say
as well, right?
It is, yeah. But it's still one of those ones when it runs 100%. How the hell is anyone meant to predict that? You know what I mean? Like, these things have just been long suppressed for so long. It's like a spring. They've just been called up for months and months and months. So when they go, they are very explosive. So
that's what That's what you want to, if people are trading, right? These are the kind of opportunities that people are looking for, right? Do your own research on the fundamentals of these projects, but people that are just trading using crypto as a trading tool, which a lot of people are. This is what they're looking for. They're looking for that flat bottom, right? And that coil up, as you say, Pav. It doesn't matter. They don't want to hold onto it long term anyway. They just want to use it as a trading tool. So
looking for that kick.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. But they do pay like 11 or 12% on chain for rewards as well. Mina. So a lot of people probably does a fair chunk of it staked as well. I haven't got the exact number on it at the moment, but
Yeah, another one I wanted to shout out as well is Injective. Like, we're just talking about all-time highs, and coins like Solana are so far off their all-time high. Injective has had a really strong performance this week, and it's actually not far off its all-time high.
Yeah, look at it. It's pretty close, isn't it?
Yeah, if you bring that chart up. Yeah, so it's not far off, which you don't usually see in bear markets too.
Well, depends. Are we in a bear market anymore?
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that we're not no longer in a bear market.
Well, but theoretically, when highs are being broken and you're holding highs, like, that's what you'd consider bullish behavior, right? So, I mean, that's what we've been seeing for the last couple of months, I would say.
What are we considering close to its all-time high? Because it's 46% from its all-time high.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
46.
That's not close, Bev.
What? It's $13. Wasn't the all-time high
$24?
$24.
So it's still 46% away from its all-time.
In crypto, that's close enough. You saw some.
I'm calling you out on it. Calling bullshit on this one. Look, it's had a good run. It's closer. But I guess, are people as bullish about Bitcoin at the moment? Yeah, probably, I guess they are. And we're looking at roughly the same numbers. And that's 50% away from all-time highs. It's all kind of relevant to its price, right?
Usually, like, Bitcoin retains its value a lot better than altcoins.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
that's another proof of stake as well. Injective is another proof of stake.
They announced it's not so much a partnership, but they've integrated with Google Cloud. They also released a project called Cascade, which basically brings Solana together, the Solana ecosystem together with the Injective ecosystem. So just another adoption play there.
You love to see it. Bit of building. What else we got in the news? This is an interesting one. Chainlink just going on the tear, still making partnerships. Ted, I know you sort of probably know a bit more about this one.
I just feel like every week we have another Chainlink story to talk about. It's having an incredible year.
Is that off the chain, Ted?
Stop. Such a
I like the Chainlink brand. I think it's honest and it seems clean.
Yeah, it does. And and it's actually, I think it's sitting at like number 12 in the market cap rank, which I think it's its highest ever point. So it just goes to show like what it's been building in this bear market has paid off. But yeah, the story is here. Like, Vodafone's teamed up with Chainlink for a proof of concept aimed at revolutionizing global trade. So they're utilizing that cross-chain interoperability protocol that Chainlink's pretty famous for, to basically optimize the exchange of like trade documents on chain. So yeah, interesting one that I'll be keen to watch play out. But yeah, that's Vodafone, Swift, and now what was the other one? ANZ Bank that have used the CCIP for tokenizing real world assets on chain. So Chainlink's just gone from strength to strength.
I think you'd be hard pressed finding another project right now that's actually bringing real life world use cases to blockchain, even if it's outside of crypto as we know it. They're using blockchain solutions to try and fix problems, right? So like, I know, like, I think when we first started at SwiftX, Tommy, like a big thing, we're like, oh, blockchain could fix freaking distribution of, you know, selling cattle or whatever else. Like, you know, all these, you know, permissionless and trustless ledgers for shipping, and, you know, you could know the integrity of something at a certain checkpoint before it got to its final destination, and you know it with absolute fact. Like, it's cool to see someone's actually on the front foot of that, and seems to be Chainlink are running the show.
We were a couple of years ago, maybe it wasn't that long ago, we were talking about like just the voting system.
Yeah.
Like that's one that really shits me, if I'm honest. Like the fact that you still have to go and line up and, you know, manual. Look,
There's no sausage in there either.
No, there's not.
It is worth the trip.
Democracy sausage.
But do you even get, I didn't get, there wasn't one this time for me.
You do, but you have to pay for it these days.
Oh, what?
They used to be free.
Oh, I still got it for free. Okay, let's not digress. Yeah.
$2 snag is now $5.
Yeah, exactly. That's inflation for you.
That's it. But no, it's just like that's one of the use cases that we've kind of half joked about for quite some time, right? Like the fact that a decentralized blockchain would be just the perfect place for a voting system, like a national voting system. But, you know, are we ever going to see it? Who knows? Probably have to just keep lining up in the when it comes time. So we just did it again last week or 2 weeks ago.
When it comes to like politics and elections and stuff, they're probably 30 years behind where we need to be. So I think other industries will start to catch up, but they're probably going to be the last to realize it. I just wanted to add one more. I just wanted to ask a question for you boys, actually. Now, I know Decrypt said that Polygon was 2022's best crypto project. And that was based largely upon, like, you know, the partnerships that they landed with some of those massive brands like Disney, Disney, Starbucks.
I had everything. Adidas,
heaps of that.
Mercedes or something.
Now, like, Decrypt hasn't come out with their like project of 2023. But do you guys think thus far it's been Chainlink?
Yeah, fundamentally and technically. Like, I'm a fan. I don't have any, unfortunately.
I guess it depends what you're basing it on. If you're basing it on like a project continuing to build, move forward, make, you know, industry leading and defining partnerships, you got to say Chainlink is definitely up there for sure. Look, there's probably things happening that we don't even know about that we're trying to uncover week to week, right? But in terms of like, there's still no bigger influence on the market than Bitcoin, though. Like,
of course,
you know, outside of Bitcoin, I would say Chainlink is right up there. Ethereum obviously had its merge, its switch to proof of stake during the year as well, which is like, that's something to consider too. Like, that happened in the last 12 months. That was absolutely massive, and it was such a feat of engineering to take place in such a seamless way, right? So you know, there's things like that. I guess if it depends what your criteria is, but
I think it's like,
I know you're looking for a simple answer here, but you know you're not going to get that.
No, I'll never get a simple answer, boys. I think the way to look at it is like finding things that are like the most tangible, right? Partnerships are tangible. Something like the merge, like that's pretty easy to understand. That's huge milestone. Roadmap.
Absolutely.
So I think another thing they've got going for them is the asset tokenization work that they've been doing as well. Like, that's, I think we're going to see that as being a big theme.
Chainlink.
Chainlink. Yeah.
I've got you know, just on that whole theme, it's something that I have on my own discovery roadmap at the moment, I guess, is to really deep dive and grow my knowledge base across tokenization of real world assets. I have a high level understanding of what it means and what it can mean for us, but that's an area that's, you know, it's been called out as a key area and a key pillar, even in the treasury submission that we've seen in the Australian
some really good language,
right? So there's things like that are coming into play. There was things in that bill about like crowdsourcing and fundraising through crypto, which is a bit of a gray area still at the moment.
Still find it wild that they still just like even ventured into that space.
But I know, which is, it's really pleasing, right? It's really pleasing that they've covered off so much. They've had a lot of support from a lot of industry leaders to shape that initial bill. But it's our turn now to come back and not rebuttal it, but give our views and takes on it. So that's a little bit off topic, but you know, it's all important. But that real world tokenization of assets is going to be an absolutely massive vertical in the future.
I mean, even BlackRock CEO Larry Fink said like that's going to be the biggest use case for crypto and blockchain in the future. So if a billionaire like him is saying it,
Yeah, that's it.
You better listen up. Is he a billionaire?
Let's probably
They're all
trillionaires by
all
this stage.
billionaires.
Yeah.
Speaking of billionaires,
Good segue.
this is almost like the perfect segue. That was former billionaire SBF. Is that fair?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, SBF took the stand in the trial just this week, just gone.
Yeah.
How do I even frame this? What a dickhead. He's admitted he's made some mistakes along the way, which what a guy. He took the stand today. I don't know how don't you I just think about the word perjury in this thing. Like, how are you actually going to tell the truth? How deep is he going to get? Anyway, look, let me just cover these notes off.
His stance is essentially, I made mistakes, but I didn't intentionally steal customers' funds or defraud customers.
Yeah. Which is like, I think it's been proved. The code has proven him wrong.
Yeah.
To date. It's
pretty premeditated.
It was set up, but that link between FTX and Alameda was set up. It was built in code. He either built it, which I don't think he did. He instructed somebody to build this loophole, which was fraudulent. So I think a lot of these, this statement that just came out when he took the stand this week is can be taken with a grain of salt. But these are the facts and this is what's happening. But
he also, like, after the collapse, when it just happened and all the the frenzy was going on, chaotic, and he started tweeting out, like, pretty much trying to give his side of the story and just save himself essentially. That's come back to bite him. Like, the prosecutors are just going hard on these tweets and basically contradicting what he's saying in court as opposed to when he said, like, when he was tweeting. It's just very contradictory. So, maybe he shouldn't have taken the stand. It was a risky move.
Bold strategy.
Just calling out, like, he has said on the stand that his biggest mistake was not implementing a dedicated risk management team, which blows my mind. If you think about it, like, you're holding billions and dollars of customer funds and you don't have a dedicated risk management team, which is just insane. I can remember listening to, like, Caroline Ellison, who was the CEO of Alameda at the time, like, just talking about their process of
that video that went around.
A Slack reaction, like a tick, was what they would look for as an approval to move like $1 billion worth of money.
Really?
Yeah. So it was like just the processes, the lack thereof, I guess, the process that they had set up, which was crazy. So it's interesting to see that the tweets are being used against him in court because he was pretty vocal early on, and I think his lawyer probably tapped him on the shoulder before long and said, cut it there, mate.
Probably should have found the delete button on those tweets before we started. There.
But it's not all bad news because Disney have actually picked up the SBF story. Story. As you can see, for all the viewers watching, there's a Disney Pixar FTX animated film in the works.
He looks kind of cute. I want to put him in my knee.
He does look cute, doesn't he?
Except for he's burning cash, which,
don't like that.
This is, for anyone that doesn't understand yet, this is satire. As funny and as interesting as this movie would be, I don't know if Disney are ever going to pick it up. Isn't AI cool though?
You just never know.
There might be an AI-generated Disney-style movie about it.
That's right. Okay, that's what we need.
See, have things on a different level.
Yeah,
that's what I look at.
Yeah. Let's we're playing checkers over here.
But Tab is playing Monopoly.
Great game, Monopoly.
It is. Ted.
Boys, I want to kind of switch things up a little bit. Like, there's not a heap of news in the market this week, so I want to play a fun little game for the listeners. Let's play coin versus coin. I'm going to compare two coins, and you guys have to tell me which will perform better over the next 12 months, starting from today.
Damn.
Might start with a bit of an easy one, or, a simple one. Bitcoin versus Ethereum. Tommy, start with you.
Short answers?
Yeah, what's the time frame, sorry?
I'll give you 20 to 30 seconds each.
No. Like,
3 is good.
Like, you're saying from potential bottom to top, or like by the end of the year, or?
Over the next 12 months.
Next 12 months?
Yeah. Best performance or best returns.
Probably should have discussed this before the podcast.
Yeah. That's fine. We're always working out on the fly.
That's right. That's great.
It's always at the expense of
I'm gonna go first in terms of returns. Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ROI for me, Ethereum.
Is that just because of the market cap?
Market cap, yeah, pretty much. Like, it takes a crap load of money to move Bitcoin's price.
Yeah.
Just market cap and volume required overall, I think. Caveat to that is, any external news around Bitcoin with ETFs and that could change that picture pretty quickly, but I still think we get enough inflows into Ethereum as the next cab off the rank for an ETF as well if you get Bitcoin approved. So
Pretty much, right.
For me, it balances out over a 12-month kind of period. Ethereum probably just about takes it for me.
And Ethereum's deflationary when it's busy. So when the network picks up, it'll be burning more than it's making. So it'll be less and less supply.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Chainlink versus Solana.
You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Solana.
He did it.
Solana.
Yeah.
After everything Chainlink has done for you.
It's about the use case. So the token for Chainlink for me doesn't have utility. So unless that changes, there won't be a narrative where it gets consumed or needed or whatever. So like L1 is why I've always liked that. Like layer ones is like an investment opportunity because you need to use that token to transact on the network. So if the network's busy, token's valuable. So yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Solana, in terms of just raw performance over the next 12 months, I would go Solana for kind of the same reasons that I think Pav has mentioned. They're the TPS is something that they've always relied on, like transactions per second. It's obviously they've had a lot of issues throughout the years, but there's still a shitload of people working on Solana, right? It's a project that's been continuously maintained and adopted and improved. So
and I'm pretty sure they've had zero downtime. Like you speak on the issues they've had, which was like network downtime, but they seem to have resolved that this year, to be honest.
It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to like gang up against Solana and talk like, it's an easy one to gang up on based on all their history and everything they've gone through. But the test of time is the greatest one in crypto that we've seen so far. So that's they're still battling and we've seen that even in price increases over the last 300% or so, maybe not exactly 300%, but 200 something percent over the last couple of months.
Yep. Love it. All right. Battle of like the layer one alternatives. Sui versus Aptos.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, I don't know enough about them, to be honest. I think for me, in those cases, it'll come down to VC reach and it'll come down to community adoption. So I think I've seen better efforts in the Sui department, but I know Aptos they've got a stake with Microsoft, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so, they teamed up with Microsoft, Google.
Yeah. So I'm sure they'll... Just got to pick one, Sui.
I wouldn't even be able to call that one, to be honest, Matt. It's, probably need to dig into those a bit deeper, but I know they both offer proof of stake. They're set up for long-term, I guess, success and long-term sustainability is the word I was looking for there. So,
well, Sui's about a fourth of the market cap of Aptos, so you got to consider that.
Yep.
They're both founded by like former Facebook employees who worked on like the Facebook stablecoin. So it's tough to split the teams, but I think Aptos has slightly better partnerships, like with those Web2 companies you mentioned, Microsoft and Google. So yeah, it's pretty much anyone's guess, but based on market cap, I'd probably say Sui.
Yep. Excellent.
Next one.
What have we got next? Fun one. Shiba Inu versus Dogecoin.
Doge for me.
Doge?
Yeah.
I'll take Shib just for the other side.
Have second Shib. Okay.
I'll take Shib.
Yeah.
I like to say Doge, but let's keep things spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the story's not over with Doge and Twitter or X now and Elon and the whole thing. I think, you get back into bull market territory.
Silly things happen.
It's right. But I mean, Shib will, if Doge goes, Shib will go. They can track together. Shib's probably has a less path of resistance, I would say. If we hit like that meme kind frenzy, it probably has better opportunity. But over the 12 months, see how it balances out.
Yep.
Holding on to a little bit of Dogecoin, I think you have to.
Yep. Okay. I back it. And lastly, we'll go with a few gaming tokens. So Sandbox versus Alluvium.
Sandbox, big metaverse play. Alluvium more on the gaming side. For me, it's gaming. Like I know they're both technically in the gaming space or metaverse space, but for me, it's Alluvium. It's obviously an Aussie brand as well, so keen to support that one.
Got to back the local boys.
Yeah, I think they'll be they should be involved in the Aussie Crypto Convention. We'll be at it in the next few weeks as well, and they'll be it's great to be able to touch base with leaders in the space, but that's not what we're talking about right now. You just want
one simple answer.
Yeah, Alluvium for me.
Alluvium for me too. Just new coin narrative. Like as long as it's got good fundamentals, I'm always more of a fan of a more recent asset than an older asset.
Yeah, I think as well for Alluvium, end up launching their game next year.
Yeah.
That's going to be massive for them.
Yep.
There's been a lot of anticipation over that game, and Sandbox has kind of been around and
AAA rated?
AAA rated, not triple X.
No, not AAA.
Triple X.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Got me in trouble last week.
Yeah. So I don't think that the Sandbox has had great activity over the bear market, which is understandable. But yeah, Alluvium has that timing on their side, which could really pay off for them.
I've been reading a few articles in the last few days about like the resurgence of NFTs.
Yeah.
So I think we should touch on that, not today, but maybe next week.
I think so.
We can do a bit of research and touch on that. I know a lot of people are and have had exposure to NFTs over the last cycle, we would say.
Yep.
I don't know. I haven't seen it personally, but I'm keen to do a bit more research and see where those stories are coming from. But like, it kind of plays on the whole Sandbox metaverse kind of theme overall.
For sure.
That's good.
Yeah.
One last one to wrap it up. I know we were talking at the start of the show how the trend is up and the trend is your friend. I still think it's early days. I could be wrong. But what would you say is your go-to litmus test for are we getting toppy? Are we looking like is there too much greed in the market?
I'm going to refer back to the last bull market and what I saw as like top indicators.
Go on.
Melania Trump NFTs was the one for me. And as soon as I saw that, I said, all right, boys and girls, the top is in. The top is officially in. Also, the fact that like when you go to, an event, whether it be a family gathering or a party, and you're the most interesting person in the room, everyone wants to talk to the
Because
crypto
you know what,
guy.
that couldn't be true in real life.
It never has been and never will be. But in a bull market, everyone wants to talk to the crypto guy.
Yeah.
Hasn't been the case
No,
since.
absolutely not. His phone stopped ringing for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
You still doing that crypto shit? Yeah. Yes, Dad.
Why?
Yes, I am. Do you want to come and say that to my face? Yeah,
Can I come in the house now?
that's right.
They're a good one, Stead.
Yeah.
Tell me about you.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this earlier. I know you've taken a few notes, like the Uber drivers, the taxi drivers, like these guys starting to talk about it. I can remember getting a lecture. It was too perfect. Got off a flight from Melbourne back to Brisbane, and I got a lecture from a guy in a Uber about crypto.
Yeah.
And I said to him, "Oh yeah, I've done a little bit with crypto. Like, I didn't be digging into it, right?" But he was just like, "No, mate, like proper, like giving me a talking to about crypto," and it was like, I want to say it was the exact top of the market at that time.
Wow.
Like, yeah, it was scary. It was scary how accurate it was at the time. And Pav always kind of talks and jokes about it, but
It's freaky.
Yeah. I've got a mate called Charlie. When he texted me about crypto as well, that's a top indicator. So I'll wait for Charlie's text.
Yeah.
And the last one for me is maybe we see the likes of a Warren Buffett or one of these guys say, maybe it's not rat poison squared. Maybe it has some value.
And it's just
That's
rat poison.
something that we're kind of watching out. We're always watching out for something like that from a high, very high profile. So yeah.
Good ones.
What about you, Pav? You got anything else?
I think for me, I'm trying to think of like a ranking of like it's getting slowly worse. So I remember last cycle they started showing Bitcoin's price and like the commodities and like the US dollar and stuff on the local news, and I was like, oh. And then Jason Derulo plugging his own NFTs on the radio. That was strike two.
Yeah.
And then I think it was I don't know. I think it was just everyone just getting really, really comfortable with it, but for the fact that it could go to $1 million. Like that was number 3 for me. And still didn't sell at the top. But
the Super Bowl stuff as well.
That was
big.
right at the top as well.
And Crypto.com had that ad with
Matt Damon.
Which was like, it was the biggest comeback to bite me in the ass ad that you've ever seen.
Favours the brave.
Which was another thing.
That was good.
Good stuff.
That was good answer.
I like it.
I like that.
We'll reflect on that one in the next couple of weeks, I reckon.
Yeah.
How wrong were we?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think we might wrap that up there.
Let's get out.
Just before we go, we'll shout out the Australian Crypto Convention again.
Yep.
Happening from the 11th to the 12th of November down in Melbourne. So grab your tickets. We'll be there. We'll be chatting away with
Looking forward to it.
the punters.
Yep.
And having a bit of a live potty from the convention. So
anyone that's going there, there's a good chance you will be recorded on this podcast yourself. So come and speak to us. Pav's nice, but Ted's not very nice to approach. I'm pretty nice. Pav's really nice. So
don't approach me.
Do whatever you feel is necessary. But yeah, no, that's an exciting opportunity. Keen to talk to the people that do listen and a lot of the customers as well. So it's cool.
Tell us your gains.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
Yeah. So we ran a little competition for some free tickets last week. So we've given them away, but you can still get 30% off tickets with the promo code TIC30, TIC30 on the Australian Crypto Convention website. So go check it out.
I feel like a proper podcast shouting out promo codes.
I know, right? Feels legit.
Yeah.
Even though we're not.
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, look at this setup, guys. Come on, we got video now. Yeah. Oh, by the way,
Spiders.
we do have a YouTube video with like screen share, so you can check out like what the articles we're looking up, charts that Pav's working on as well. So it just adds that like visual aid to what we're talking about. So go check out the YouTube.
Love it. Thanks, guys. Happy Halloween. Have a good week.
Lovely.
go.
Thanks, boys. See you later.
Okay.